Hi, so I've actually came into a little bit of a problem slash an idea. I record quite a lot of my training footage and then my phone memory fills up, and in a couple of months it will probably end up deleted, so I lose a lot of it. So what my idea is one, for me to be able to save my progress and give myself something to look back through visually, and also to share a little bit of the information of my training, my nutrition, and my approaches with you people, is to actually put all this into somewhat of a montage of various training clips, and I'm going to talk through the different elements of what I am currently doing. I hope that you will find this informative and interesting. My editing skills are awful, but this is kind of my weekly check-in with everybody to keep myself accountable and to track my progress. If there's anything you want to kind of question me on, feel free to do so, and you can very much guide the way that these videos are going to go and the kind of content I include. And I'm going to try and keep them in at about 10-15 minutes, just as a nice snippet, hopefully on a weekly basis, just going through where I am with my training, what I'm doing, and why I'm doing it. So we're going to go over and start running through some things. Hi there, and here we are. So where am I currently? Well, currently my training is week 2 of this block, and my main focus is heavily revolved around the barbell lifts. Where I was before this, I did run a 7-8 week powerlifting block. I picked up a lower back niggle, which really just put a dampener on motivation. But also, as much as I love the barbell lifts, I get bored of them when there is all that my training is, and I don't have much variation. I do find it boring. I do like working with different movements, and I do like working different rep ranges. So my training now is kind of that way. It's not powerlifting focused, although you will see lots of squats, deads, and bench pressing in these clips. So you're just seeing now 140 kilos for 10 reps. So this training block I am just really enjoying. Motivation is very high, but it's very much because of the enjoyment. All lifts, especially the barbell lifts, are being trained multiple times per week. So twice for squats, bench. Deadlift is only once, with a stiff leg deadlift. Overhead press, seal rows, and pull-ups are all trained twice. And my progress is just really good. It feels like I'm a bit of a newbie trainer again. This progress is just climbing really quickly. I understand this will kind of take a hit. So here we are. This was from start of the week. That's 102.5. I think that will be close to 10 reps. So the current setup is very much everything's being trained in a high and a low rep range on the barbell lifts. So high reps I'm kind of classifying in between the 8 to 10, and my low reps are between 4 and 6. And you'll see some accessory movements come in here and there. They're not really targeting any major weak points. They're kind of just hitting the points that some of these big barbell lifts don't actually target. And when I say don't target, because obviously big barbell compound lifts hit a lot, what I mean is like directly target. So even something like a row and chin-ups, although they give a lot of stimulus to the bicep, I know that in terms of recovery, I can afford to put on a little bit of extra load on those points. So I will take something like triceps. I'm quite I feel very tricep dominant in like most of my pressing movements. So they don't actually need that much because they will feel really, really sore come the end of a training week. While something like biceps and shoulders seem to be able to take a lot more. And also there's some direct work going in on the quads because a lot of my lower body stuff, my posterior chain, glutes and hamstrings, tend to overpower when I start to fatigue. It's something I'm very conscious at on my squats. It can very quickly turn into a good morning if I just get too focused on the weight and not on the execution. So any of the isolation movements that you do see, they are there to fill the gaps where I can fill the gaps. They're not there to necessarily work on a weak point. The one weak point that I'm more than aware of, but I'm very happy with the way that they're coming on, is my calves. They're being targeted 3 times per week with about 3 to 4 sets, and I'm working in multiple rep ranges with those. Here's a funny little exercise. Get some great looks in the gym when I'm performing this adductor movement. We don't have a machine, but I do find a band works really well, and locking myself in and against the squat rack just keeps everything fixed. These are quite high reps. These go like 15, 20. Sometimes I will even rest pause them. And it's something that I picked up a couple of months back, incorporated in my training, and it's one of those, it's very much just for the kind of the health benefits in terms of squats and deadlifts. I feel so much more stable and firmer and locked in on the hips when I have some adductor movement in there. Oh, and some dips. I love dips. Possibly one of my favourite pushing movements. It's because they can get crazy heavy. That's 45 kilos there, so it's not crazy, but I think it was about a 10 rep set. We're now into another movement that is very much for health. It's a face pull, or just a rear double bicep practice, really. But this just does wonders for that upper back scapular retraction, hitting that rear delt in there as well. So it's a movement I've actually adjusted my form, but I'm definitely liking it. I was making a hell of mistakes. Yes, no matter how long you're in this game, you can always learn something. Here we've got a Bayesian fly. I normally machine fly. I do not get on with standing cables. I put too much momentum and completely lose any chest engagement. So I actually really like the feel of these, and it's going to probably be a second movement that's going to come in because my chest can generally take that bit more volume on there. I'm not feeling any heavy levels of fatigue. So from isolation flies into some big heavy squats, so 162.5, I believe this was for 6 reps. Just so you are aware, this isn't a single training day. This is a mishmash of everything throughout the week. So some sessions there's probably only got 1 exercise from, others it might have 3, 4, or even the entire session. So don't try and put all these exercises together and think this is how I train. Also, I think you're very much only seeing 1 set of probably a top set or drop set. This is 240 kilos. Maybe 220. I think it's 220. It's only 220. That's like really burst my bubble. So that's a 220 kilo deadlift for 6 reps. It's great that there's no sound on this because I'm screaming like crazy. I do love a deadlift. It makes you toughen up. If it's the one thing the deadlift does, it makes you toughen up. Bench, this is my second bench in the week, so you'll see load is a little bit heavier. It's up 10 kilos than what was earlier. As for anybody worrying about, or worrying, I don't think anybody's going to be worrying, but for anybody wondering about my nutrition, I'm very all for the flexible dieting approach. That is my approach. Just at the moment, I'm so flexible. What I'm doing is taking a morning weight and just using that as a guide. And I'm currently sitting at about 195 pounds, give or take about half a pound. And eating wise, I'm just eating intuitively, making sure I hit my protein. So, and then carbs and fats just balancing out. I've trained long enough, and I tracked about 3 months into my gaining phase. So I was taking about 3,500 calories in, and I was maintaining at about 196. So the fact I'm sitting about 195, 195.5 most mornings, I know that I'm still consuming about 3,500 calories in order to maintain. And the fact that my performance is good in the gym, I don't see a massive need then to kind of push calories and get fatter for no reason. Seal row, got to be one of my favourite movements. It's been in training now for about 6 weeks, and I think I'm finally kind of getting that full movement there. So yeah, so nutrition, when I went on holiday, I didn't track on holiday, and that was start of October. So it's been a couple of months now since I've tracked macros precisely to the gram. It's very intuitive, but then I am into a gaining phase. I'm about 6 months in. You're going to see a little physique check-in at the end of this, and for me that's very much to be honest on what I do and where I am. And when I say if you need to gain, you need to get fluffy, and you need to be prepared to get a little bit fat. Obviously, what I see as fat, some people may be looking at this thinking, actually, well, that's lean, cool, I'd like to be able to be at that point where I can hold that physique. Well, obviously for me, this here is a fluffier state than what I am used to. But it's the difference of when you go into, say, a bodybuilding prep and you get to those levels of leanness, you set your standards at a very different point. So my norm is not the normal person's norm. So I'm probably going to sit 195-ish, probably up through till Christmas, and then somewhere around Jan, Feb, there's chances are that there will probably be a mini cut. Here you go. This is just proof that I don't just do big compounds, that there are isolation movements. I don't really record these because they're pretty boring. Watching me curl 10 kilo dumbbells and perform lat raises with 10 kilo dumbbells is, well, just not quite as cool as watching big squats and deadlifts. But it just shows that I still fill in the gaps. It's not just squat, bench, deadlift. And here we are coming into a physique update. So this is how I am currently. I'm going to use this exact same spot in the gym so I can get very similar. And this is me, very comfortable in an off season. Performance is very good. But I can see a point of tidying up come the new year. So I hope you've enjoyed. I hope it's kind of giving you a little bit of information on what I do. And hopefully if I get some comments or any sort of feedback from people, I'll include the information that you want. I can happily go into detail on different elements of my training. Just remember, this is my training. This is what I do for me. And my training experience and time training is going to actually heavily affect this. So watch out. This should be a weekly update so you can see my journey.